All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's up, guys? Rio here. Going to be breaking down this 6-game NBA slate on Saturday, March 9th. Big weekend over here at the Nation. Got MMA tonight, UFC 299. If you guys get the chance, go check out Big Marley and Titletown's breakdown of that one. Two of the best in the industry, what they do. Big slates, obviously big money to be made over there. Looking forward to it. Got golf going on right now, NASCAR tomorrow, and of course NBA every day. So a lot of stuff going on over here. If you're not a member, use code HOOP15, get you 15% off on your first purchase. But yeah, let's get right into it. First game of the slate. Got Brooklyn taking on Charlotte. Not a ton of interest in this game. Brooklyn's going to be getting back Cam Thomas. Kind of takes off all the upside and value of guys like Dennis Schroeder, Dennis Smith Jr., Lonnie Walker. So I'm off of those guys. I think the only one I'm really considering on the Brooklyn side of things is Nick Claxton. Pretty good matchup for him, but the minutes might not be there. With Daron Sharp returning, probably gets back to low 30s minutes in this one, but it is a good matchup, so I don't mind him. Charlotte's interior's defense has still been pretty bad this season. On the Charlotte side of things, they'll be without Trey Mann again, so we should see Vasilije Micic take on another big, large ball handling role, leading the team in touch time over the last 3 to 4 games. Saw Bridges put it on last night, put up 57 DK points in that one. Finally got the double-double, 32 points. So I think that he is a pretty good option at 8.5K, but I don't love the matchup. Don't love this game environment as a whole. I think I'm really only considering Micic and Bridges tonight in that game. Next one, Dallas versus Detroit. Got a lot of interest in this one. Mavericks have been one of the worst teams defensively over the past 7 games, ranked dead last in defensive rating in that stretch. Giving up a ton of three-pointers. I think they're dead last in three-pointers allowed per game in those last 7 games as well. Pistons, obviously one of the worst teams, worst defenses all season long. Interior defense has been really bad, a little bit better versus three-point shooters, but their pick-and-roll defense has been terrible. Makes me love Luka tonight as the top spin up. I think 12.2K is a fine price for him. He's got a 70-plus point upside pretty much every time that he plays, and he's shown 80 to 100-point upside. So I think that with this game projected to be pretty close, 8-point spread right now, I love Luka as a spin-up tonight, so I definitely get to him. I think that Kyrie is a great option as well. Really good matchup for the guards. Be max 1, Kyrie and Luka. Obviously prefer Luka, but I think Kyrie at 8.6K makes a lot of sense as well. And then outside of that, really only considering Daniel Gafford. Derek Lively is going to miss this game, and Gafford got the start last game. I think that there's probably some pretty big minutes upside for him in this one, with the front court being pretty big on the Pistons side of things. I think he's got a lot of upside at 4.4K and probably one of the better values on the slate. On the Pistons side of things, love Cade at 8K. Minutes I have been there for him. I think he's pretty much off his minutes restriction, like around 34, 36 minutes in a close game. And like I said, the Pistons or the Mavericks, one of the worst defenses right now in this current stretch. So I love Cade as a mid-tier spin-up option tonight at 8K. Jalen Duren, I think he's fine. The matchup's pretty good against Daniel Gafford. We know that he's been a pretty bad interior defender with his years with the Wizards. So I think that he's an okay mid-tier option at the center position, 6.6K. Ivy's looking at some ownership. I think I'm okay with that, 5.7K. He played a ton of minutes last time. Minutes have been kind of up and down for him. 29 minutes, 25 minutes, and then 39 minutes last game. So I'd be okay getting away from Ivy at ownership. I do like Asar Thompson this one, though. He played a ton of minutes. He's been playing a ton of minutes, 43, 34, 33, 37, 35, 36 in his last 6 games. Yes, I think that he's a great option at 5.6K. I don't mind Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart. He's shown really big upside at times, playing 30-plus minutes a night. I think that he's pretty good. And then Fontecchio, like the spot for him for three-point shooters. I'd probably be a max 1 Asar Thompson and Fontecchio, though. Next game, Boston versus Phoenix. Fun game from a viewer standpoint, but it's not the best game for DFS perspective. Devin Booker looks like he could be making his return tonight from the ankle injury. So that really just kind of gets me off of pretty much everybody on the Suns, considering the matchup, considering their price tags. So Suns pretty much going to be a full fade for me tonight. I can get to Tatum at 9.3K regardless of Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's questionable right now. Played a ton of minutes against Denver the other night. So I wouldn't not be surprised to see him miss this one. But yeah, Tatum looks like a really, really good spin-up option, 9.3K, really cheap for him, and would be really good if Jaylen Brown were to miss. Porzingis is a really tough matchup. Suns have been one of the best teams at not allowing fantasy scoring to opposing centers. But he's been playing really well lately, shooting the ball really well. So I don't mind him. I think he's got a lot of upside at 7.6K. And I do like the matchup a lot for Derek White. He's been the guy that's benefited a ton from any one of the starters missing a game. And the Suns have been one of the worst teams at defending opposing guards this season. So I think that he's really good at 6.1K. That's really all I'm considering this one, though. Not a ton of interest. Next game, San Antonio Spurs taking on Golden State Warriors. Spurs will be without Wemby, so we'll see Zach Collins get no start. He's going to be a really strong value option at 5.8K. Played 30 minutes last time, put up 37 DK points. Devin Vassell going to take on another big offensive workload. Usage was not as high as I thought it would be with Wemby out, but he's been playing great. Has like 50-plus DK points in three of the last 6 games, something like that. Not too afraid of the matchup here. I think that he's a pretty good option at 7.7K. Keldon and Sohan going to have to pick up some of the slack too. Do prefer Keldon from an upside standpoint, but both are pretty good. Same eligibility, $100 difference. So I guess just choose whichever one is going to be lower owned. Trey Jones, minutes kind of got cut down a little bit, but he's been one of the guys that benefited a ton from a usage standpoint with Wemby off the court this season. So I think that he's fine. And then Branham, I think, is kind of a sneaky option at 4.4K with no Cedi Osman tonight. He's played 26-plus minutes in 3 straight games, put up 35, 25, and 34 DK points in those games. So I think that he's a pretty good value option. It's going to be looking to be pretty low owned. On the Warriors side of things, they're going to be without Steph Curry. So going to see Chris Paul most likely sliding to the starting lineup, and I think that he's a really, really good option in the mid-tier at 6.4K, possible core play. Spurs are just terrible versus opposing point guards, bottom 2 in DVP, and I think even if Chris Paul only gets up to 30 minutes, he has a pretty good shot at paying off this price tag. Going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Going to have a lot of potential assists in this one, so I think he's a great option. I think Kuminga, pretty good matchup for him versus a weak rim defense. He's shown really big upside, but the price is almost 7K. I think that I'm okay getting away from that, looking at double-digit ownership as well. I think Draymond is pretty good, even at 6.8K. Yeah, I mean, the matchup's good for opposing centers with no Wemby especially. But, yeah, he had triple-double last game, so and we know that he has that upside, the 50-point upside. So, yeah, I think he could get that again here. I think Clay at 6.3K, looking at sub 5% ownership. He's been one of the guys that's benefited in a big way without Steph off the court this season from a usage standpoint, from a per 36-minute standpoint. So I like him at 6.3K. And then Trace Jackson-Davis at 3.8K. Been getting the backup center run for the Warriors right now and been a really solid fantasy point per minute producer in that role. Great matchup for opposing bigs against the Spurs team with no Wemby down low to protect the paint. Next game, Utah versus Denver. Utah going to be without Lauri Markkanen again tonight. We just got the news that Walker Kessler will play tonight, so he'll fill in those backup center minutes again here. Keontae George is back, so this team's get a little bit healthier. On the Nuggets side of things, they are fully healthy as of right now. So no injury on their side of things. But yeah, I don't love the spot for Utah. Double-digit dogs on the road going into Denver. I'm pretty okay getting away from all these guys, especially now that Walker Kessler's back. Did have a little bit of interest in John Collins, but can't get there now with Walker back. I think the minutes start to come down a little bit. Con Sexton been playing 35, 34 minutes a night lately, and I think he's pretty much matchup proof at this point. He's playing really, really good this season. So I don't think that he's the craziest option. I'm seeing sub 5%, sub 4% ownership on him. I'm not getting a Clarkson tonight with Keontae George back. No on Kessler, no on Dunn, no on THT. I think Sensabaugh makes a little bit of sense. I think that he's leapfrogged Luka Samanic in the depth chart, played 30 minutes in his first career start, put up a double-double. Yeah, I mean, if he starts, I think that he's okay, but don't love the spot for Utah. Do like some of these guys on the Denver side of things. Obviously, Jokic is a great spin-up option. I prefer Luka for a little bit more expensive in a more competitive game environment, but Jokic has the same upside as Luka, so would be fine if you need a high upside center. He's the guy. Jamal Murray, I really love this matchup for him. Jazz are dead last in DVP versus point guards this season. Jamal sub 8K looks really, really good, and he has 50-plus DK point games in back-to-back games before putting up 40.5 against Boston last night, playing a good amount of minutes too. So yeah, I really like Jamal Murray tonight. I like MPJ as well, Michael Porter Jr. a ton. Jazz are bottom 2 in catch-and-shoot defense and in three-pointers allowed per game. I think that this could be one of the games where you look back and see MPJ scored 45, 50 DK points, and you wish you played him. I think he's got really big upside in this one. And then I think Peyton Watson is kind of fine to keep in your player pool. If you need like a low 3K value option at the power forward position, he's been playing pretty well lately off the bench. And he could play into blowout as well. Last game of the night, Toronto versus Portland. Probably one of the better games from a DFS environment standpoint. Both these teams really bad defensively, and offenses have been improving a little bit. Emmanuel Quickly, starting on the Toronto side of things, he looks really good. This Portland team is bottom 7 in DVP versus point guards. Quickly kind of showed that same upside that he did a couple of years ago with the Knicks when they were shorthanded, putting up triple doubles. So I think that he's a really strong option, 8.2K. Almost had a triple double last game, had 18 assists, which I believe is a career high for him. 9 rebounds. Played 40 minutes, playing 36 to 38 minutes on a nightly basis. So I think that you have to have some interest in him. I think this is a pretty good spot for RJ Barrett as well. Blazers are bottom 5 in transition defense, and Barrett leads the Raptors in transition scoring the season. I think he goes pretty overlooked at 7.9K. I'm not getting to Kelly Olynyk. The minutes just have not been there for him. They've been running out a pretty deep rotation in the front court. So I think I'll get away from Olynyk at 6.7K. Gary Trent, okay to keep in your player pool at 5.5K. Don't love the matchup for 3-point shooters in this one. Blazers been pretty good defending that, but he's taken 22 shots, double-digit shot attempts in pretty much every game that he's been starting lately. So I think that he's fine. I mentioned Javon Freeman Liberty played 18 minutes in back-to-back games. I think just someone to keep an eye on moving forward. If this team misses anybody, if Quickly were to sit out a game, I think that he's gonna be very interesting in the future. He's been killing it in the G League, so definitely somebody I have interest in down the line. On the Portland side of things, Anthony Simons, great spot for him. This Raptors team has just been terrible defensively, dead last in defensive rating over the past 2 or 3 months. So I really like Anthony Simons here. Usage has been really good over the last 4 games as well, leading the team. 8.3K looks really good with the point guard, shooting guard eligibility, so I have a lot of interest in him tonight. I think Grant is okay to keep in your player pool at 7.2K, but he is questionable, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Let me double check. I don't know if they've even submitted an injury report yet. Yeah, so they haven't submitted yet, but he's been missing the last couple of games, so keep an eye on that one. Duop Reith, really good spot for him. Raptors been giving up a ton of three-pointers. He's been shooting a ton, 4 out of 6 last game, 0 for 5 game before that, but 5 out of 6. So he's taking around 6 a game, playing 30-plus minutes a night, scored 30-plus DK points in 3 out of his last 6 games as well, so I like him. And then Delano Banton, he's been crushing it last couple games. 32 DK points, 29.25, and then 52 last game. I think that they're going to just have to give him run just with how good he's played. But if Jeremy Grant were to miss, would have a lot of interest in him. I think he'd be one of the better value options tonight. That's going to do it, though. All 6 games. Nice, quick 15-minute breakdown right there. Yeah, good luck tonight, everyone. Hope everybody has a great weekend. See you later.